All right, so we're diving into Zero Fitness Fucks today. That book that kind of throws all the typical fitness stuff out the window.
Yeah.
And, I was lucky enough to get to talk to the author, Sean,
Oh, wow.
and he did not hold back. Um, one thing I found really interesting is how he kind of reframes how we think about fitness goals. He's not pushing for, hitting a specific number on the scale or fitting into, one particular clothing size.
Right.
It's really not about that for him.
Yeah, what's interesting is he almost completely reframes how we think about fitness.
He does.
He's not about chasing those numbers on the scale or fitting into that, dress size.
Yeah.
It's much deeper than that.
Yeah, and one of the things he said that I thought was so interesting, he said, stop chasing six-pack abs. Like, just forget about that. Strength is the only foundation that matters. Build that, and the rest will follow.
Oh, wow.
And, it's like he's saying, forget the quick fixes. Forget all of that, fad diet stuff and all that. Focus on building something real.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
We get caught up in that mentality like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds, but we don't realize that building strength is actually going to get us to that aesthetic goal.
Right. So it's almost like less about the aesthetic and more about function and like overall well-being.
You got it. Sean would probably say it's building a body that can keep up with your life,
Right.
Whatever that life may be.
Exactly. Now, okay, so we say strength.
Yeah.
It can be kind of a confusing term. What does that even mean? Because there's so many different, types. We've got, absolute strength,
Right.
relative strength, endurance, explosive strength. Where do you even start with all that?
Well, think about it this way. Think about a power lifter who's lifting, an insane amount of weight over their head. That's absolute strength.
Wow.
That is the maximum force that you can exert at one time. Then you've got gymnasts
Right.
who they might not be, the biggest weightlifters,
Yeah,
but they have incredible strength relative to their body weight.
right.
So you can be incredibly strong without, deadlifting 500 pounds.
Okay, so it's not all about bench presses and deadlifts. There are different types of strength that you can develop depending on what your goal is.
Absolutely. And, even if you think about like a marathon runner, they are using, endurance strength. They're going for, an incredible distance, and it's all about resisting fatigue and keeping going.
Okay, so we've got strength for lifting heavy things, strength for moving your own body weight, and strength for just going the distance. What about when you need quick bursts of energy, I don't know, sprinting to catch the bus? What is that?
So that's where explosive strength comes in.
Okay.
Think about sprinters, jumpers, they're generating a quick burst of force to propel themselves forward or upward.
I see.
It's all about speed and power.
It's making me think about all those fitness tests we used to do in school, like the standing broad jump, the sprints,
Right.
where you're unknowingly tapping into all these different types of strength.
Absolutely. Those tests were designed to assess different aspects of physical fitness.
I see.
And, those different flavors of strength that we were just talking about.
Okay, so we've talked about, different kinds of strength, but one of the things that I thought was really cool about talking to Sean is he really emphasized how strength is a mindset. It's not just about the physical stuff. It's about cultivating that inner resilience to face anything in life. Inside the gym or outside.
Right.
I love how he put it. He said, strength is your birthright.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool? It's like we all have this capacity for strength just waiting to be unleashed.
Absolutely.
And that's, where I think those traditional kind of fitness goals can sometimes really hold us back. We get so fixated on that outcome. I want to hit this weight or I want to look this way.
Right.
That we lose sight of the big picture, which is building a body and mind that are just strong and resilient.
Totally.
It's almost like stop chasing the shadows and go straight for the source of the light,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
What do you think?
Sean really encourages that shift of focus from outcomes to the process.
Yeah.
To embrace the journey, knowing that, you're going to have setbacks, you're going to plateau, you're going to have those days.
Oh, yeah.
But those are just opportunities to learn and grow stronger.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, pushing yourself, and celebrating every little win.
Exactly.
Along the way.
And it's about recognizing that, strength comes in many forms, like we were saying,
Right.
It's not just how much you can lift or how fast you can run. It's also, mental fortitude, emotional intelligence,
Right.
that ability to adapt and overcome any obstacle, whatever life throws at you.
It's making me think about all those times where I felt frustrated in my own fitness journey.
Mm-hmm.
What if I had approached all of that with this zero fitness fucks mindset?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because his whole approach is about ditching the guilt,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shame that so often surrounds, the world of fitness. He
Yeah.
wants us to embrace a more, holistic and empowering approach,
Yeah. Yeah.
focusing on what our bodies can do and not just how they look.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I love that. Like, that is so powerful.
It is.
And I think that's something that probably a lot of people listening can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're going to delve even deeper
Yeah.
into this empowering approach to strength with Zero Fitness FucX.
Awesome.
I am really excited to talk more about this after the break.
Me too.
All right, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
This episode of The Deep Dive is brought to you by Primus 3,
The performance-enhancing electrolytes.
designed to help you unleash your inner strength and conquer your fitness goals.
Whether you're hitting the gym, crushing a workout, or just powering through your day.
Primus 3 provides those essential electrolytes your body needs to stay hydrated, energized, and, performing at its best.
Now let's get back to our deep dive into the world of strength and fitness.
With Zero Fitness FucX. Okay, so we are back and we're ready to keep unpacking all this wisdom from Sean in his book, Zero Fitness FucX. We're talking about this whole idea of how a mindset shift can really help you build real strength. And I think one of the things that really resonated with me from my chat with Sean is this idea that it's about understanding the why behind fitness.
It's going deeper than just, sets and reps.
Exactly.
He wants us to uncover those fundamental principles that a lot of us miss.
So what's an example of a principle that he reveals that a lot of people miss?
He talks about consistency and dedication.
Oh, yeah.
Building strength takes work.
It does.
You got to show up.
Absolutely.
Even when you don't feel like it.
Right. And he said something, I thought this was such a good analogy. He said, strength is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And I was like, you know what? That is so true.
It is.
It's not about just going to the gym a couple times a week. It's about really building that sustainable relationship with fitness, and one that's based on, empowerment and self-love.
Right.
Not punishment and deprivation.
Exactly.
Which is what so many of us have experienced,
Yeah, and that's where Sean's approach is so great. He's like, let go of the perfectionism. Embrace the mess, embrace the process and focus on the progress, not perfection.
Right. It's about celebrating those wins, no matter how small, and learning from our mistakes.
Absolutely.
It's about showing up for ourselves even when it's hard, and honoring our bodies with movement and nourishment.
It's almost like he's giving us permission to be human.
I love that.
It's okay to have off days, to make mistakes, and to still love and appreciate ourselves through the journey.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Oh my gosh, that's such a liberating message. It takes so much pressure off.
It does.
Because then you can approach fitness from this place of joy and curiosity, not dread and obligation.
You got it.
You know what I mean?
And that shift in perspective can really make all the difference.
It can.
When you view fitness as a form of self-care and empowerment,
Yeah.
it becomes something you look forward to, something that nourishes your body, your mind, and your soul.
I love that. That's beautiful. And, that kind of leads us to another principle that Sean talks about, which is listening to your body.
Yes.
Tuning into those signals and, respecting those limits.
He's all about pushing yourself, but not to the point of breaking.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Right.
where you challenge yourself without overdoing it.
So it's not about, blindly following some crazy workout program.
No.
It's about paying attention to how your body feels and adjusting accordingly.
Exactly. And what do you think?
He wants us to be mindful.
Yeah. Of our energy levels, how we're recovering any aches and pains.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that rest and recovery are just as important as those workouts.
That is such a good point. Oh my gosh. It really is making me rethink my whole approach to fitness, because I used to think, more is always better, push yourself to the limit every single time. But now I'm realizing that there is so much to be said for honoring what your body is telling you and actually prioritizing recovery.
It's a shift in perspective, and it's something that can benefit everyone,
Right.
whether you're an athlete, a seasoned athlete,
Yeah.
or you're just starting out.
Right. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And it's really cool, how
Yeah.
he emphasizes that, rest is not a weakness.
It's not.
It's actually crucial for getting stronger.
So interesting. I'm learning so much.
Me too.
And we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We talked about different types of strength, how to build a more sustainable and empowering relationship with fitness.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've only scratched the surface, though,
We have.
of Zero Fitness FucX.
There's more.
There's so much more to unpack. But you know what?
Oh.
I think it's time to take a little break.
Okay.
Let all of this goodness sink in, and then we'll be back to keep going with our deep dive.
All right. Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, we'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere.
This episode of The Deep Dive is brought to you by Primus 3.
The performance-enhancing electrolytes designed to help you push your limits and reach your full potential.
Whether you're hitting the gym, crushing a workout, or simply powering through your day.
Primus 3 provides the essential electrolytes your body needs to stay hydrated, energized, and performing at your best. Now let's get back to our deep dive into the world of strength and fitness with Zero Fitness FucX.
Okay, so we are back, and we are ready to keep exploring all of this no-nonsense wisdom from Sean in his book, Zero Fitness FucX. You know, we were just talking about the importance of building strength, both physically and mentally. But I'm curious, what are some practical ways we can actually start implementing these principles in our lives?
Well, one thing Sean emphasizes is finding joy in the journey.
Oh, yeah.
Choose activities that you genuinely enjoy and celebrate your progress, no matter how small.
I love that.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. He told me this story about how he used to dread going to the gym.
Oh, wow.
And he felt like it was a chore, an obligation, like he had to do it. But then he realized he was approaching it all wrong.
Yeah.
So what did he change?
What did he do?
Well, he decided to focus on activities that actually made him feel good. So instead of, forcing himself to do these exercises that he hated, he started exploring different activities until he found ones that he actually looked forward to.
That's a great example of how shifting your mindset can really make all the difference. It's going from viewing fitness as a punishment to it being a source of pleasure and empowering.
And it doesn't have to be like anything fancy. It could be, going for a walk in nature. Dancing to your favorite music, trying a new sport.
Absolutely.
Floats your boat.
Totally.
The point is, just get moving and find something that feels good.
And you know what? It's not always about spending hours at the gym. Sean's a big advocate for just incorporating movement into your everyday life.
Oh, yeah. What does he mean by that?
Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking or biking instead of driving, and even just getting up and moving around more throughout the day.
I love those. Those are all such good tips. And it's stuff that, anyone can do.
Yeah, regardless of your fitness level or how busy you are.
Exactly. And you know what? He even suggests setting a timer to remind yourself to get up and move every hour.
Oh.
It's amazing what a difference those little bursts of activity can make.
Yeah, they really can.
I'm starting to see how this Zero Fitness FucX approach is really about creating a lifestyle.
It is.
Not just working out.
Yeah, that supports your overall well-being.
Exactly. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
it's about making those healthy choices that just become second nature.
Yeah.
Things that you do without even thinking about it.
I love that. It's not about striving for some crazy ideal. It's about those small, sustainable changes that add up over time.
Exactly.
And it's about being kind to ourselves along the way.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes that we're all a work in progress.
We are.
And there's no need to beat ourselves up for slip-ups or setbacks.
It's about embracing the journey with all its ups and downs and celebrating every step forward.
You know what? I think that is a great place to pause and reflect on everything we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From understanding different types of strength, exploring how Sean's Zero Fitness FucX philosophy can help us build this more sustainable relationship with fitness.
Absolutely.
That's empowering.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get back to our deep dive into the world of strength and fitness with Zero Fitness FucX.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
And we're diving deeper into the world of Zero Fitness FucX and how this mindset shift can actually help you build real strength.
Yeah, and, one thing that I found really interesting is, Sean talked about how building strength is about understanding that why behind fitness.
Yeah, he goes beyond, just sets and reps. It's about uncovering those fundamental principles that most people miss.
Yeah. So what's an example of a principle he reveals that a lot of people miss?
He talks about the importance of consistency and dedication. Building strength takes work.
It does.
It takes showing up even when you don't feel like it.
Right.
Does that resonate with you at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he used this great analogy. He said, strength is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And it made me realize that it's not just about going to the gym a few times a week. It's about, like I said before, it's about building that sustainable relationship.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, this fitness. And one that's based on empowerment and self-love.
Totally.
Not punishment or deprivation.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's where Sean's approach really shines. He encourages us to to let go of that perfectionism, embrace the messiness of the process, and, focus on progress, not perfection.
Right. So true.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's so important. And it's about celebrating our wins, big and small, learning from our mistakes,
Right.
and just showing up for ourselves even when we don't feel like it.
Yeah. And honoring our bodies with movement and nourishment.
Right, exactly.
It's like he's giving us permission to be human.
I love that.
To have those off days.
Yeah.
To make mistakes.
Yeah.
To, not be perfect all the time and still love and appreciate ourselves throughout the journey.
And that is such a powerful message.
Power.
Because it takes the pressure off and you can actually approach fitness and honestly life in general.
Yeah.
With this sense of joy and curiosity rather than dread or obligation.
Right.
It changes everything.
It does. And I think when we can make that shift, when we view fitness as that form of self-care and empowerment, it just becomes something that we look forward to. It nourishes our body, mind, and soul.
And, this is making me think about something else that Sean talks about, which is listening to your body.
Oh, yeah. That's so important.
It is. It's tuning into those signals, respecting your limits.
He's all about pushing yourself, but not to the point of breaking. It's all about, like we said, finding that sweet spot where you challenge yourself, but you don't overdo it.
So it's not about like blindly following, some crazy intense workout program that you found online or whatever.
Right.
It's about paying attention to how your body feels.
Yeah.
And like adjusting accordingly.
He wants us to be mindful of our energy levels, our recovery needs.
Yeah.
And, and recognizing that rest and recovery are just as important as those workouts.
I used to think like more is always better.
Right. Yeah. That no pain, no gain mentality.
Yeah.
A lot of us has fallen into that trap.
Totally. And, listening to my body and actually prioritizing recovery it's huge.
It's a real shift in perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And, I think that can benefit everyone, whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out.
Absolutely. It's for everybody.
Totally.
Now let's get back to our deep dive into the world of strength and fitness with Zero Fitness FucX.
Welcome back. We're diving deeper into the world of Zero Fitness FucX.
We are. And, one of the things that really stuck with me from my chat with Sean is this idea that building strength is about understanding the why behind fitness.
He goes deeper than just sets and reps.
Right.
It's about uncovering those fundamental principles that most people miss.
So what's an example of a principle he reveals that most people miss?
Well, he talks about the importance of consistency and dedication.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Building strength takes work. It takes showing up even when you don't feel like it.
Right.
He used a great analogy.
What was it?
He said strength is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Oh, that's so good.
And you know what? That made me realize it's not about crushing yourself in the gym once a week.
Right.
It's about making it a regular part of your routine.
It's like building that sustainable relationship.
It is.
Right.
Yep.
The fitness that's based on empowerment and self-love, not, the opposite of that.
Exactly. And, and that's where his approach really shines.
Yeah.
He encourages us to let go of that perfectionism, to embrace the messiness of the process, and to focus on progress, not perfection.
Right. It's not about being perfect. It's about celebrating the wins and learning from your mistakes.
Absolutely. And, showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it.
Right.
And honoring your body with movement and nourishment.
I love that. And it's making me think about all those times where, I've felt discouraged in my own fitness journey. What if I had approached those challenges with, this Zero Fitness FucX mindset?
That's a great question. And I think, because Sean's approach is all about ditching that guilt and shame that often surrounds fitness.
Right.
He wants us to embrace a more holistic and empowering approach, focusing on what our bodies can do, not just how they look.
Right, exactly. That is so powerful.
It is. It's really powerful.
I love that.
Well, we're back, and, we were talking about, finding those activities that we enjoy and incorporating movement into our everyday lives.
Right.
But what about when it comes to, actually building strength? Does Sean have any specific advice about that?
He does. And one thing that I thought was really interesting is how much he emphasizes functional strength.
Okay.
Building a body that can actually perform in the real world.
Yeah. It makes you think about how much of our modern fitness culture is so focused on aesthetics.
Right.
It's all about how do we look in the mirror or in pictures.
On social media.
Yeah, on social media. Exactly. Not necessarily about how our bodies actually move and function in real life.
Yeah. And I love how Sean, he challenges that. He's all about building a body that can keep up with your life,
Right.
whatever that life may be, whether it's like, carrying groceries, playing with your kids, or even like, hiking up a mountain.
I love that.
He wants you to feel strong and capable no matter what,
Yeah.
you know?
And he goes so far to say that, like, strength is the foundation for everything.
Yes, he does say that.
And, when you think about it, it's true. If you have a strong foundation, you can build anything on top of that.
I know. That is such a good point. So, okay, so how do we start building that foundation
Right.
of functional strength? Like, does he recommend specific exercises?
He does. He does. One of the things he talks about is compound movements.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
So these are exercises that work for multiple muscle groups at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Things like squats, deadlifts, push-ups, and rows.
So it's not about isolating individual muscles like you might do on like a bicep curl machine.
Right.
It's more about engaging multiple muscle groups in a way that like works together.
Exactly. And those compound movements really mimic the way our bodies actually move in real life.
I see.
So think about, picking up a heavy box or pushing a stalled car.
Yeah.
You're not just using like one muscle, you're using multiple muscle groups.
It all works together.
It all has to work together to generate that force.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But, for someone who's new to strength training, those compound movements can seem kind of intimidating.
You're right, they can be. They can be. But the beauty of Sean's approach is that he emphasizes like starting where you are
Right.
and gradually progressing.
Right. You don't have to jump into like, lifting a ton of weight right away.
No, you don't.
He said something else that I thought was really, really smart. He said, the best workout program is the one you'll actually do.
That's so true.
Right. So it's about finding something that fits into your life and that you can actually stick with.
Consistency is key
It is.
when it comes to building strength. It's
Yeah.
not about, crushing yourself in the gym once a week. It's about finding something that you can do
Yeah.
regularly.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
And, he also talks about the importance of listening to your body and not being afraid to modify exercises if you need to.
Oh, totally.
You know?
He's all about finding variations that work for you.
Right.
Whether it's using lighter weights,
Right.
doing fewer reps, or even starting with like just body weight exercises.
Right.
He
Yeah.
really stresses that it's about making it sustainable.
Right.
For you,
Yeah.
you don't have to, fit into anyone else's mold. You can create a fitness approach that honors your body and your individual needs.
That's what I love about it. It's like he's giving us permission to ditch that like no pain, no gain mentality
Right.
and embrace something that is so much more like, intuitive and compassionate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about pushing yourself to the point of injury or exhaustion.
Right.
It's about challenging yourself in a way that feels good
Yeah.
and that you can actually sustain over time.
That's sustainable. That's the key word.
That's the key.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah. And he even talks about the importance of incorporating rest and recovery
Yes.
into your routine.
Yes. He's a big advocate for that.
He is.
Getting enough sleep, managing your stress levels, and just giving your body time to actually like repair and rebuild
I know.
after those workouts. It's funny because I used to think that rest was like a weakness.
Right.
Like I had to push myself to the absolute limit every time.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But now I'm really seeing the value of rest and recovery.
It's so important.
It is. It's when our bodies actually grow and adapt.
It's interesting.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm learning so much.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible how, we can go from understanding the different types of strength
Mhm.
to exploring how this zero fitness fucks philosophy can help us build a more sustainable relationship with fitness.
Right.
We've even, talked about those practical strategies for building that functional strength and prioritizing recovery.
It's amazing. And you know what? I think in the final part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
we should really explore the mental side of strength. Like uncover how this approach can help us build resilience.
Yes, I love that.
Overcome challenges and just cultivate this like more positive and empowered mindset.
I can't wait. I think it's really about recognizing that strength isn't just about pushing through pain
Right.
or gritting your teeth.
It's not.
It's also about knowing when to rest, when to ask for help,
Yeah.
and when to prioritize self-care.
I love that. So listeners, stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive into Zero Fitness Fucks. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Zero Fitness Fucks. And, we've talked a lot about building physical strength, but Sean's philosophy goes so much deeper than that. Like, he's all about cultivating mental strength, too.
It is fascinating how he connects those two,
Yeah.
like they're inseparable for him.
Right.
He believes that building physical strength can actually help you develop mental resilience and vice versa.
I remember him saying something like, The gym is a microcosm of life.
Oh, wow.
You know, the challenges you face in your workouts can teach you valuable lessons that you can apply to any area of your life.
That's so true. When you think about it, like when you're pushing yourself to lift a heavier weight or to run a little farther, you're
Yeah,
not just training your muscles, you're training your mind as well.
right?
You're learning to like embrace discomfort, to persevere through challenges, and to believe in your own
It's
capabilities.
like, those moments when you think you can't possibly do another rep,
Right.
but then you dig deep and you find that extra ounce of strength.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful feeling, and it really shows you that you are capable of so much more than you think.
Exactly. And those moments of triumph in the gym
Uh-huh.
can translate into greater confidence and resilience in other areas of your life too.
I see.
You start to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to be avoided.
So it's not just about building, like, bigger biceps.
Right.
It's about building a stronger mindset, a stronger, like, inner self.
Absolutely. Sean's all about using fitness as a tool for like personal development.
I love that.
He believes that the process of pushing your limits and overcoming obstacles that can really help you build self-awareness,
Uh-huh.
discipline, and a belief in your own ability to, achieve anything you set your mind to.
It's so much more than just looking good or being able to lift a ton of weight.
Totally.
You know, it's about building that foundation of strength that empowers you to live this more fulfilling and meaningful life.
And it's about recognizing that strength isn't just about, pushing through pain or gritting your teeth and like, just like
Right.
forcing it.
Right.
It's also about knowing when to rest, when to ask for help,
Right.
and when to prioritize self-care.
He really emphasizes that it's okay to have off days.
Yeah,
It's okay to make mistakes.
absolutely.
And you don't have to be perfect all the time.
We're all a work in progress, right?
Yeah. And
Oh.
you know what? I think that's a great note to end on
I agree.
because that is what it's all about. It's about showing up authentically,
Mm-hmm.
embracing challenges,
Yes.
and never giving up on
Yeah,
yourself.
that.
So as you go out into the world, remember these lessons we've talked about today. You know, strength is more than just a physical attribute. It's a state of mind.
Right.
It's about believing in yourself,
Uh-huh.
pushing your limits,
Yeah.
and never giving up on your dreams.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There's a whole community, Zero Fitness Fucks out there ready to support you.
Absolutely. So thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Zero Fitness Fucks.
Yes, thank you.
And we hope you've gained some valuable insights that you can apply to your own fitness journey and, your life as a whole. So until next time, keep exploring, keep challenging yourself, and keep striving to become the strongest and most resilient version of yourself.